in the upper left starting location, one of the best Protosses in the entire world. He is
Master, SK Telecom T1 Parting.
And his opponent here, the underdog. Let's see if he wins this or even at least gets out of this group. He is
New challenger, LGIM Yonghwa.
All right, so, you know, in PvP early game, the things that you're going to want to look for is when do they scout, how much chrono boost they have, and at what time do they take their second gas.
Yeah.
So we'll be keeping an eye on that. It unfolds pretty quickly, unlike some of these other matchups. You know, you get like a, let's say a ZVZ or a TVZ, and you might sit there for 6 minutes before really you can say what's happening because the opening is so standard. But here, there's a lot of little tiny things you can do to tweak your build and make it optimal for your strategy.
It's really easy to punish somebody in this matchup early on. I mean, even if they just get a stalker out late, you know, they have 1 or 2 bad force fields, that can just be it. I mean, in ZVZ we often say, you know, if the Baneling just connects, it can end the game. But in this matchup, think of it like there's lots of different ways that a Baneling could connect, but with several different units, you know? There's so many different variables that can go on.
That's right. Well, both players here actually scouted for proxies. It is interesting to note that Parting only scouted within his main base, and that just goes to show how confident he is in his micro. He's decided that even if there's 2 proxy gate zealots in his natural, that he'll be able to hold it.
Yeah.
It would have to be literally just a little bit closer in his main to scare him. So I love seeing little differences like that, whereas Yonghwa, not as confident in that, goes into the natural as well.
Yeah, he had to take a peek there. You know, it's those little things like this that can actually begin to build up. If you're somebody who is able, you know, to not scout with that probe and mine, I don't know, 30 more minerals, that's 30 more minerals than your opponent has, and when you got 2 guys that are this good, it makes it a much more neck-and-neck situation. Yep.
Well, we do have a second gate going up for Yonghwa. Very, very common indeed. You can do 3 stalker pushes. You can grab a mothership core with that, and you can do 5 stalker pushes.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see exactly what he wants to do. Sometimes you just expand off it, though, because your opponent will normally scout 2 gates, and then they have to play a little bit more defensively.
Yeah. Now, Twilight Council.
Parting's doing the Artosis build, Tasis.
He is.
I actually stole this build from him like a month and a half
and
ago.
Now it's yours.
And I've done it every single PvP forever now. So he's going to go up to 3-gate Blink Stalker, most likely. He might go for DTs. It's a possibility.
Well, this, you know, with the Mothership Core and everything, this can be very effective.
Yeah.
It's really easy to blink up into their main. Then you have Time Warp, so you can escape from there very easily.
Yeah, and notice how his probe went to the watchtower. That is to watch a line of sight so that he can fly his Mothership Core down to scout his opponent. Now, he is going to go DTs.
So he's not doing this build.
No, this is a slight variation that we are seeing right now, where he's going into very, very fast DTs. And, you know, the best part about this build definitely is that scouting with the Mothership Core, because he can always see exactly how many DTs he really needs. Does he need Blink? Does he need
Yeah, that's actually
Nexus?
very smart. He can get in there, and if he doesn't like what he sees, he just recalls out. And he's fine. If he sees, oh, he's got a Robo Bay, then maybe you're only going to get 1 DT and park it outside the base, wait for him to leave and run inside.
Oh, and look at that. He actually only scouted a part of the way down, and in fact has a second probe out on the map and has already made his proxy pylon. Now, what tech is Yonghwa going to go for here? And
Robo.
It is a Robo. This is what Yonghwa normally does. If he goes for a fast expansion, he's not the type that'll go Blink or Stargate. He stays safe. He grabs the Robo.
Yeah, he's a very conservative player. Now note, this Dark Shrine is all the way in the back, so even though there is a hallucinated Phoenix coming up here, it's going to scout it just a little bit late. Now, what Yonghwa can do if he sees the DTs coming is run up his ramp and actually force field that, block out the DTs.
Yeah.
And he knows.
And in fact, he should be able to get ahead from this. That was a perfectly timed scout where he's going to have that observer out before he takes any actual damage. And this just puts his Nexus way, way ahead of Parting. So Parting has to figure out some way to start coming back here.
Now, this is very smart. He force fields even before the DT gets there. He doesn't want to risk anything right now. He knows if he just gets this observer out here, he should be in good shape. Another force field goes in. He can actually slip through there.
Ooh, he can indeed.
And he does.
If he kills more than about 3 probes, that is going to be actually really bad. Oh, he's going to as well. Oh, losing quite a bit. Doesn't want to lose mining time there, but I think, yeah, that was definitely more.
Another failed force field actually blocking out his army. So it looks like the DT should be able to get out.
Yeah,
that's it's
painful.
funny because Younghwa should have been able to hold this and not take any damage, but
Yeah.
he just
Even when it gets
click
in,
on to make the force field right to block the ramp, so the guy just squeezed through.
that is actually pretty painful, I'd have to say. But you know what? His Nexus is so much faster that it almost doesn't matter. But all right, so look at this. He's actually getting blink right now. And this isn't counter blink. This is actually just blink after you have an observer. And this is actually going to be really good because his opponent is just going to have to go into most likely Immortals from here.
Yeah.
You know, and if Parting is just on Immortals and Younghwa has blink, he has complete map control.
That's very true. You know, the Immortals are very strong against the Stalkers, too, but you also have to keep in mind they're a little clunky. Especially with Blink Stalkers. You can avoid them, even go around them.
We do have a Warp Prism on the way for Parting. Becoming more and more popular since that buff. To see a Warp Prism flying around the map, doing some Immortal drops and whatnot. But with Blink out, there's a possibility that he can catch it right away.
That's very true.
And if he catches that and snipes that, the amount he would be ahead it's gigantic.
Well, we'll see if he managed to do that here. So far, supplies are dead even. And it's going to be a little bit of a passive moment here. Oh, can he actually get that?
I don't think he can. I think that's a completely safe spot.
Isn't that funny? This weird situation where now that Observer just has to stay there and park over that.
Yep. Well, all right. So, you know, he has to keep his own Observer there if he actually wants the chance to kill it. So that's kind of like equalized in a sort of way.
Okay, so we have a DT drop coming up here now. Let's see how much damage it actually does. Right on the tip of the base here.
Very cool move.
Now, one thing you got to note for is how quick will Younghwa notice.
How many probes will he actually end up getting?
By the way,
there
looks like only one here.
This was almost a good thing. He only had 1 probe on that gas. That's actually a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Well, all right. That DT has basically done his damage. A lot of lost mining time. In fact, he had to pull all the probes from the natural as well. And Parting is just showing that
was there a DT at the natural as well? Yeah, it looks like there is. There's actually one going in there right now at Younghwa's natural.
And the funny thing is that Younghwa brought the probes before that DT got there. Knowing that Parting is so good, there's no way he would drop that DT and then not do that. Because he knows there's an observer over there. There's no way that Younghwa made 3 probes. So there's a lot of back and forth mind games right now going on. But Parting is definitely winning them.
Yeah, Parting is in control of this game so far. And it looks like the third base here, just slightly behind here from when Parting's base was planted.
Now, it looks like Parting is settling into Archon Immortal Charge Lot, which is a really popular composition right now. It's kind of a funny one. A lot of Immortals, a lot of Archons, and then just a bunch of Charge Lots. You get a lot of supply quickly. It's pretty robust as well.
Yeah. This is definitely a good unit combo to go for here. Again, both players still scouting each other constantly here with the Hallucinated Phoenixes. This is great because when you have those sentries, if you're not being attacked, that means you don't need the energy for force fields, so you can go ahead and scout. If you are being attacked, then you already know what they're doing, so you won't need to scout with the Hallucinated Phoenixes. So it balances out quite nicely.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting to just look at the differences that we've seen so far this game. Now, Younghwa, an amazing player, but I think he's under a lot of pressure. You know, he missed that force field at the ramp. He lost a lot of probes. He actually had a better start as far as build orders went and scouting. But at this point, Parting is up 13 supply, which is a big deal at this point.
It really is.
All of his upgrades are a little bit ahead. His third base is a little bit ahead, but his natural was so behind. So it's kind of a rough spot.
All right. Actually, he may get out position here. Oh no, the Warp Prism.
Well, at least he sees it and does get to go back. The thing is, this is a lot of damage.
Okay, this drop in the main could be huge, even if this attack over here is not. We're going to see, though, he might be able to get the Nexus and all these probes. And even more here. And he's going to get both the Nexus and he's going to do a lot of damage over here. And beautiful recall. Okay, I actually think Younghwa can't actually recover from this. This
He's
is
not going to win this. You're right.
He's actually dead.
Yeah. yeah. Parting has actually just shown his prowess. He's shown why he's the world champion. Younghwa has a hard time getting into the top 32.
Yeah.
He actually just dismantled him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to take out the Nexus and with a perfect recall, by the way, and then to get out while still killing off all these probes at the expansion means he's economically he's so checkmated economically. There's just really not much he can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can see actually in Parting's play what joining SKT1 has done for him. A team with the best, with Bisu, with of course Rain.
Yeah.
Like, he is so much more refined, and every time we see him play, we see it more and more. But I would say this game especially because PvP is so technical, and everything
really
he's done
yeah.
has been a very technical move. Just really quite astounding play.
And it looks like there's going to be an engagement here in the middle of the map. I think Parting's going to win that one, as well as Parting doing too much damage with his drop.
Nice move there by Younghwa.
Actually, yeah, it was not bad, actually.
Or by Parting, rather.
Yeah. Now we got another drop over here from Younghwa, actually. This one's going to be doing a lot of damage here.
Yeah,
with the Immortals and the Zealots, actually. Now recalling back into his main here, hoping to do a lot of damage. Is this going to be enough for Younghwa to come back? Right now I'm saying no with his drop over here, but still, we'll see. Younghwa not doing a bad job despite being in a deficit.
Well, I would say you're totally right, Tasis. Parting has everything under control. There was a few nice moves there by Younghwa, but enough to make up for 50 supply? I don't think so.
All right, continuing to move in here. And nice time warp there on the Archons, keeping them stuck in the back. And these Immortals just doing so much damage. It looks like Younghwa might just barely have enough to drive this back here. He's going to have to kite this Archon.
Yeah.
Another nice time warp there, which slows down the other Archons and the Stalkers.
You know,
actually, he's going to come back. He's going to come back in here with a Warp Prism. He's going to make a Nexus here to actually make fun of his opponent.
Oh, I thought he was expanding to that high ground location.
Then he's going to mine those trees.
He can long distance mine
the
gases.
He's going to mine the trees like it's Warcraft 3. Like,
yeah, he needs
GG.
work. Well,